Chair recognizes Alderwoman Hadden.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to start off I wish I could say that I can't believe we're here today. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this process has been so difficult. But I can believe it because myself and many others have predicted it since before October 30th. Today, we're being asked to vote on the fourth budget proposal for 2025. This latest proposal eliminates the property tax increase by making some reductions in middle management positions across departments, but also by employing more one-time non-structural solutions than the last proposal. City budgets are the product of imperfect processes and tough choices. And I've never seen a budget proposal that I would call great or that I was excited to support in my time in this body. This one's no different. So while this proposal may have landed at a result that on its face appears to respond to what constituents have asked for, I agree with Alderman Hopkins. It's really just delaying harder choices for a few months, not even a year, just for a few months. He said we didn't defeat the property tax. I'll be clear, I wasn't trying to defeat the property tax. Government's not immune to inflation, and the cost of everything is going up. We need more revenue, and yes, we need to go to Springfield. I've been in this body for 5 years, and everybody's talking about going to Springfield. And we can look at those creative problem-solving pieces and think outside the box. But we also have to solve our problems for today by working within the means of the tools that we have available. When the October 30th initial proposal came out, I told 49th Ward constituents that we would likely need to have some kind of property tax increase based on the budget gap, but that we could reduce it. We didn't need to do a $300 billion property tax increase. Last week I voted in the budget committee on the last proposal, which had it down to 68.5. This wasn't a fantastic proposal either, but it was grounded in some sound financials and compromises, right? It closed our budget gap. It right-sized the property tax, increasing it to barely more than CPI. It also included continued investments in what Chicagoans, and I know my constituents, consistently tell us that they want. Mental health supports, housing and homelessness support, public safety and infrastructure investments. I was prepared to vote in support of that proposal on Friday as well, but the administration didn't have the votes, so here we are. Mr. Mayor, we have heard a lot about your progressive values throughout this process, and I don't doubt them. But how we do things is just as important as what we do. And the way you've led this process has left the city council fractured, Chicagoans less trusting in government, and it's left our city in an extremely vulnerable position as we enter the next year with the promise of attacks from a new presidential administration. We are not prepared, and the fault lies squarely with you and your administration. You delayed this process against many voices telling you that it was a bad idea and leaving us less time to come together. Constantly changing budget hearing schedule made it hard to keep pace with the work in our wards and meant less time to meaningfully engage our constituents in the transparent and accountable processes around the budget that many of us do. And when some of us expressed strong concerns about the direction of the strategy that your team was taking, time and again we were ignored, rebuffed. So we may pass a budget today, but this delayed process has already caused strife and threats to city services as contracts for delegate agencies whom we rely upon for the delivery of our vital services are delayed. They don't get contracts until we appropriate the funds, people. And normally we pass a budget before Thanksgiving. And it still takes them weeks to get contracts together and out to people. So we're going to feel the pain of this in the first quarter of 2025. And that's not the pain of what the budget is, but the delay. And this delay in process just shows an utter disregard for people's time, a disrespect for people's time. This budget may have some progressive outcomes, but the process to get here was anything but progressive. The majority of our council's progressive caucus, which I co-chair with Alder Vasquez, will be voting in support of this budget. And let me be clear that without our support, we would have had to recess again today. Our caucus's 19 members represent people from every corner of Chicago and all their diverse experiences and perspectives. And we see many of our priorities reflected in this budget. No layoffs, investments in housing and homelessness, mental health and public safety. We also have we're gonna have a better organized, more transparent process next year because of demands that members in our caucus and others made, right? And the management ordinance. So we're going to be given critical information that we rely upon in a timely manner next year. Didn't happen this year. So to my colleagues who are voting for this budget today, thank you for ensuring that bills will get paid, services will be delivered, and that we have continuity of government. To my colleagues who are voting against this budget, thank you to many of you for engaging in good faith and working to make this proposal better. Much of your feedback is reflected here as well. And to my colleagues who submitted a letter suggesting that we slash and burn the budget, but never offered any actual amendments, best of luck on your crusade. Thank you, Mr. Chair.